This is the Sugar Beet Report, bringing you the latest information from NDSU throughout the sugar beet growing season. Get ready for updates on the winter beet processing, spring planting, the Farm Bill, and more about what's going on with this negative talk about sugar. Our guest today is Harrison Weber, the Executive Director of the Red River Valley Sugar Beet Growers Association. Harrison, we had a cooler winter. How did that process go?
Bruce, we've had a really good processing campaign throughout this winter time. Much better conditions for storing sugar beets this year as to compared last year with those warmer temperatures last year. Our crew made the decisions to turn the fans on early this fall. And really, I think as the dust settled and the beets were processed, that was definitely the right decision. All 5 factories finished up processing starting on May 19th and finishing up May 23rd. Really just hats off to our crew for getting through that entire campaign, keeping the beets in good condition, and then being able to extract that sugar and run efficiently and staying on target.
So what's the report on spring planting?
We're all wrapped up with sugar beet planting. We got about 408,000 acres planted. Really, generally, I'd say a good spring for us. A lot of beets got in relatively early, did receive some nice moisture, but that didn't come without its own challenges midway through and definitely towards the end of planting. Certainly got hot and dry at the tail end. We faced some crusting issues from that first spell of rain that we got, and then wind damage and blistering 100-degree heat for a few days. Stand counts on the average probably are ranging, those 150 to 160 mark, but the total range, as low as 110 and up to 200 and some of the good stuff. I know a lot of guys are making the tough decision or analysis of whether to replant, especially when their stand counts were down to 110. Never an easy decision. Regardless, the replant window was relatively early, and I know there are a couple guys that are still finishing up some replants. Now we'll be focusing on weed control and disease and pest control. I think the biggest thing right now is getting those herbicides down, getting the laybys down for water hemp. We're going to be monitoring the sugar beet root maggot flies. But right now, a good spring so far. We're off to a relatively good start, but a lot of things can change, whatever the good Lord gives us with weather as we progress. So,
last year, the Farm Bill got an extension, and this year, another one. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Farm Bill, we're really operating on a 7-year-old Farm Bill, or the numbers are 7 years old, and the economic realities are starting to set in at the farm level. The safety net that's currently in place is just basically non-existent. So we did receive some relatively good news. As recent as last week, the House side did pass the farm language as part of the reconciliation bill. Really, all of our asks were included into that, all of agriculture's asks. So the reference price increases, loan rate as it relates to sugar, crop insurance improvements. And so, really kudos to Chairman G.T. Thompson and his colleagues for including those necessary updates into the Farm Bill, as well as Chairman Smith and his colleagues for the numerous tax provisions that are going to benefit family farmers. So now it's off to the Senate, and we'll see what the Senate shakes out. I've heard kind of rumors that, they have a deadline as early as July 4th. Kind of fun to see some things moving really, really quickly when we've been waiting and asking for quite some time now. So we'll see what shakes out, but relatively good news.
Harrison, what's up with the negative talk connecting sugar and health issues?
Yeah, Bruce, there's a lot of comments around the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again movement. We agree that these chronic diseases are serious and they warrant attention and really do require rigorous scientific review to determine the root causes. The evidence is going to reaffirm what really hundreds of years of history have indicated, and that's that balanced diets do have room for moderate amounts of real sugar, especially real sugar that plays a really important functional role in foods and has a tough time being removed from foods without adding numerous amounts of industrial additives like artificial sweeteners that Americans really prefer to avoid. The other thing too, Bruce, added sugars currently make up about 12% of our total calories as Americans. It's actually the lowest level in 40 years and near the lowest level ever recorded, which was 11% in 1909. While we've seen this steep decline in added sugars over the past 25 years, it's actually coincided with rising rates of childhood obesity and chronic diseases. So it's just not fair to point a finger just at sugar alone. Diet is extremely complex, and we believe that sugar can play a critical role in that diet in moderation.
Thanks, Harrison. Our guest has been Harrison Weber, Executive Director of the Red River Valley Sugar Beet Growers Association. This is the Sugar Beet Report, bringing you the latest information from NDSU throughout the sugar beet growing season.